Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Twitch chat of all ages. Oh no. Right as I started, my internet craps out. Not again. Please, not again. Well, welcome back, boys, to, the New Order Last Days of Europe. Now, last series we did on this, we hopped in as Sverdlovsk, and we didn't do just one campaign. Well, we sort of did. We did two, sort of. 1.5. See, is the stream gonna come back on? I don't know. So we did two different things. We got, oh, I better... So we did, both Batov and Yeltsin. And, that was pretty fun. And so, I went ahead... Oh, dear. Yeah, okay. I think the stream's back now. Yep, the stream's back. Yeah, my Streamlabs just disconnected. This shit is happening again. But, hopefully that was just a one-time thing. We'll wait and see. Anyway, I put a poll up on the YouTube, on the community page to figure out what the next series is, and so, I think we got it figured out. So, we're going to be starting a new game. That flag is wrong. I don't think it's supposed to be that flag, but so be it. We're going to be hopping in to the West Russian Revolutionary Front. Yeah, we are back. Thank Pete for that. So, as the Soviet Union burned, its loyal Red Army refused to yield to the German invaders. In the dark days after the Union's collapse, Marshal Clement Voroshilov rallied the surviving troops and founded the West Russian Revolutionary Front to carry on the struggle against fascism. Striking badly occupiers, the front was at the cusp of victory and they were driven back at the last minute, nearly shattering it permanently. Yet the front lives on. From the city of Arkhangelsk, its grizzled veterans stand at the ready, preparing for the time when they drive back the fascists from motherland and rebuild the Soviet Union anew. However, Voroshilov is not a young man, and his final hours draws close every day. It is a moment his generals are eagerly waiting for, each of them planning to seize the torch from themselves that one day shall lead them to victory. Oh, god damn it. It disconnected again. That's not good. I better tell him real quick. So yeah, I don't know how long I'll be able to keep up the streaming thing on this, but luckily I'm recording this offline, so it won't go off too badly. So if I keep, for those of you who aren't understanding what's going on, and we're back. I'm recording this on Twitch, or I'm trying to, and while I'm trying to do that, my internet keeps taking a shit on me. I thought I had the issue figured out. We had Comcast come out and everything, but Comcast fucking sucks. What can I say? It's back once again. So how's a fitness YouTuber doing? I'm good, Fox, and how are you doing? Thanks for the ideas of what to do. Yeah, we're back again. I know, I need a new internet provider. Who the fuck else is up in this county, though, Jaden? Do you know? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, I figured out... It might just be an issue with my Ethernet cable. I might just have to go and get a new Ethernet cable. But I'm not entirely sure. I'm not... It might be because of a location, but it's been fine up until... the last 2-3 months, I've been starting to have little issues here and there. So I'm not quite sure. Anyway, the timer's ticking. I don't want to waste too many people's times on this. For now, we're going to be going ahead and hopping in. And I'm going to hope that my internet doesn't fucking shit itself. And just as I said that, the stream is dead. Nice! Oh, I love it when that happens. Oh dear. Oh dear. God, the timing on that it's incredible. Everyone who's watching at home on YouTube is probably very, very confused what's going on right now, even after I've explained it, because it's confusing me, and I know it's confusing fucking me. I don't blame you guys for being confused. Well, we might as well just hope that our dear friends and the stream's back. How fucking long do you guys place your bets? How long will it take for it to go out next? The West Russian Revolutionary Front. The Great Patriotic War against the fascist invader cost the Soviet people everything and then some. The Nazis employed unimaginable cruelty in a crusade against Soviet civilization itself, to the extent where no single man or woman couldn't name someone close to them who'd been cruelly torn from them by the hands of a Hitlerite. Guess what's back? Back again. In the muddled anarchy after the total collapse of the central government authority, the remnants of a Red Army in the West reorganized in the city of Kubyshev under the leadership of Grand Marshal Clement Yefremovich Voroshilov. Across the former Soviet territory of the Soviet Union, loyal Red Army units flocked to his banner, including the 6th and 9th Armies under Marshals Mikhail Nikolaevich Tukhachevsky and Georgy Konstantinovich Zhukov, respectively. With these powerful mechanized forces and an alliance with promised potential figures such as Mikhail Andreevich Suslov, the newly formed West Russian Revolutionary Front was able to exert authority all over the shattered remnants of the Union which remained west of the Urals. In the late 1950s, the Reich paralyzed by the deadliest economic crash in history, and the Red Army only becoming more eager to avenge their defeat, and its shit out again. Nice! Grand Marshal Voroshilov decided that the time had come to launch Operation Suvorov, the liberation of all Soviet lands currently occupied by German forces. Despite Lazar Kaganovich refusing to commit the forces of the West Siberian People's Republic to the operation, the Red Army's advance was swift and brutal. Voroshilovgrad was liberated on day 28 of the operation, prompting an attempted coup by the SS under Heinrich Himmler. Spurred by the infighting within the enemy's ranks, Red Army troops reached the outskirts of Leningrad and Moscow by day 40. Riding high on the wave of success, few noticed the cracks that had formed within the front's structure over the years. The exact cause of disintegration, welcome back, chat, of the front during the West Russian War remains unknown, with theories ranging from attempted seizure power by Suslov to the breaking down of critically overextended command structures, facing threats to the security of military leadership in the face of a new German offensive, employing the collaborationist forces of the West Russian Liberation Army in Vladimir Romanov. The government was relocated to the city of Syktyvkar. Following the political turmoil and the string of defeats at the hands of the enemy, the Republic of Komi seceded from the front, and a subsequent string of defections and secessions marked the end of the West Russian War and the death of the front. Or so the Germans thought. The front lives on, clinging to life amongst the permafrost tundra across the embattled city in Arkhangelsk, with its generals bitterly divided after the catastrophic failures of Operation Suvorov. To the south sits the military district of Plesetsk and Utka, ostensibly loyal vassals trusted with the management of the front's anti-aircraft defenses against the German terror bombings and upkeep of the oil fields, respectively. However, these domains serve a very different purpose to keep Tukhachevsky and Zhukov and all the factional politics that follow them far, far away from leadership in Arkhangelsk. That's probably not good. Marshals Tukhachevsky and Zhukov are widely considered to be the two potential successors in the event of Voroshilov's ultimate untimely death. Tukhachevsky is a talented, if somewhat eccentric officer who believes in the role of the Red Army as a primary driver of political change. A former noble who turned against the conformity of his class to join the Bolsheviks in the Civil War, Tukhachevsky has gained support from a number of elements within the front who wish to avoid the mistakes made by Bukharin and the return of the USSR to its former military glories and beyond, with every cog inside his machine turning towards one singular goal, every soldier marching towards final victory. Zhukov is a talented, popular commander who received fame and admiration amongst his men from the Civil War to Operation Suvorov, leading the liberation of Voroshilovgrad together with Marshal Momyshly. I didn't pronounce that right. I know that. Lizakov is fiercely loyal to the communist cause. I have an idea to hopefully fix the stream. Oh, he's fiercely loyal to the communist cause. His clique has attracted the attention of some reform-minded individuals, such as Alexander Yakovlev and Nikolai Ryzhikov. Where am I going to plug this in? I'll plug it in right there. We'll see if that works. Ryzhikov, along with many of the hardliners unaffiliated with Tukhachevsky's faction, such as Sergei Akromeyev. I'm going to see if that fixes things. Now, in 1962, the front situation is a precarious one, but beyond the territories controlled by Arkhangelsk lie statelets, run by illegitimate secessionists, collaborationists, czars, and other contenders. Only time will tell if the front will regain its position as the defender of Western Russia, and potentially reunite the motherland to avenge those who fell and deliver justice upon Germany. So we can manage squabbling cliques of generals, decide the future of the front, put an end to warlordism and anarchy, uniting Russia under the Soviet flag once more, and prepare for the continuation of the Great Patriotic War against Germany. Destiny lies ahead. Poyakali. Probably not how you say that, but... Okay, so here's what I did, because the stream kept shitting out. I swapped the internet cable, Ethernet port from one of the options on my router to the other. One that I swapped ports on it. So hopefully it'll stop shitting out from here, and the stream will stay one consistent thing instead of shitting out every 2 fucking minutes. And that's the hope, at least. I don't know how well it'll turn out or work, but a man can hope, can't he? So, what do we got over here? Not mean to select that. We got research, of course. So we'll start off with the typical research stuff. Vacuum cube computing. And civilian construction. Let's do practical industrial administration, actually. Let's start off with that. Mix it up a slight bit. Sorry I was away for a while. You didn't miss much. The stream literally just kept shitting out. So you're good in that regard. So, I think Arkhangelsk is without a doubt the place to start building industry. We have some factories. I'm going to start training up. These guys seem like solid enough divisions to start with. Guess we'll just train one at a time. What do you guys need? Infantry equipment, anti-tank, artillery, support equipment. Okay. Infantry, anti-tank, support, artillery. We're working on more guns off the bat. And I think we're good from here. I hope we are, at least. So we can check out all this. Real quick, we'll go ahead and get some generals. Well, we'll get the army situation figured out. We got a field marshal. We'll go with Mr. Voroshilov. And for generals, let's go ahead and get Alexander Altunin. We'll line up the border with Onega. So let's check out who we are running with. We have Clement Voroshilov. For Clement Yefremovich Voroshilov, the war never truly ended. Proudly serving the Soviet country ever since its foundation, Voroshilov brought many victories in the name of the Communist Party, with his defense of Tsaristan, which would later be named in his honor, being one of the most famed ones. For his valiant feats and simple proletarian character, Voroshilov became one of the most mythologized figures among the Soviet people, and quickly rose up as the first marshal under Bukharin. Even though he couldn't save his motherland when the Germans invaded in 1941, he never gave up in his attempt to expel the fascists from Russian soil, even after the people of Muscovy and Ukraine submitted to the whim of the Hun. In his exile beyond the AA line, Voroshilov succeeded to amass the remained Red forces of West Russia under his banner and to strike a heavy blow against Germany and her lapdogs in Muscovian. So began the legendary West Russian War, which saw the front almost on the verge of victory. But the latter saw its efforts Oh, it's just okay. Goddamn, I lost my place. But later saw his efforts undermined by the reactionary Russian collaborators and traitors within the front. Even in his defeat, the resolve of the Marshal remained unbreakable, and he never lost his hope that he will eventually see the Red Banner over the Kremlin once again. The old Klim remains a popular figure amongst the people of Arkhangelsk, but the long years of never-ending struggle and long melancholy for his lost motherland have not spared his health. His authority still holds the remnants of a Soviet country together, but as his subordinate generals obtain more and more power within their domain and seek to change the front in their own image, fiercely competing with each other for the influence over the country, who can say what future unfolds for the Russian front after Voroshilov dies? So, this is the main guy. If he dies, it might not end well. So we have Luftwaffe terror bombings, because of course we do over here. We have good evening from the toasty Arctic. Good evening to you as well. We have Veterans of a Long War, which gives us just a lot of great bonuses, actually. For decades, the front has fought the old Union against the German and Russians alike. 30 years of constant warfare, attrition, and training have steeled the front's soldiers, backing them by experience and grim determination. These are the Soviet Union's finest soldiers, forged in the furnaces of war, of iron will and steely muscle. In their hands are placed the guns of the motherland, and besides them roll the best armor available. They will not surrender, for there is always the long war against the Hitlerites to fight, and if victory cannot be achieved, what is left for Russia? Then we also have agricultural insecurity, which is just shit altogether. Jesus. Regardless of legitimacy, military strength, or the quality of the front's leadership, farming in the desolate wastes of the Arctic Circle is not a viable pursuit. Rationing is getting stricter and stricter as supplies begin to run dry, and the bombs of Luftwaffe wreak a significant toll on attempts at trade. In order to secure food for the front, greater and greater sacrifices, alongside more connections with reliable warlords, must be made. So let me check who we got. So we have Timoshenko as our head of government, Grigenko as, let me check him, not bad. Grigenko as our foreign minister, not bad as well. Babadov, the political power hit isn't the best. Construction speed and consumer goods factories, this is kind of nice though. And then Altunin as the security minister, not bad generally, I'll take that. I'm going to message my Discord, tell them that everything seemed to be figured out. Alright, and we can go ahead and select a new focus. Enduring. The West Russian Revolutionary Front nowadays could seem as yet another irrelevant and unknown warlord state in Russia, perhaps owning slightly more territory than one could expect. However, anyone with a good knowledge of recent history knows of the glory days of the front, when it stretched from Arkhangelsk to Orsk. It was a torchbearer of Russian liberty and socialism. Any dreams of liberation were crushed, though, with the West Russian War and the destruction it brought onto us. We've been isolated in a corner of the former Union, stuck in the frozen north and based in Arkhangelsk. Despite the defeat in the 50s, the front lives on. Now we must seek to assess our situation, find every detail on our resources and capabilities, and how we can make the most out of it. And right as I said, everything has been figured out. It has shit out. Well, let's go ahead and start her up. We also need motorized, really. It's just logistics. Let's get some motorized going then. Dang, I want to stream too, but I guess I'll just have to do the stuff offline. Let me swap the ports. There we go. That's nothing I haven't read before. Interesting story, if nothing else. Assassin strikes at Hitler. Ooh! Damn, that's a lot of political power. Real quick, we'll go ahead and start looting up. Through the Black 40s, we carried on. The Germans, in their arrogance, thought the Soviet Union broken, consigned to the dustbin of history. Throughout the decade, we plotted and prepared. Throughout Russia and Central Asia, men and women alike united for a great attempt to push back the fascists. In the West Russian War, the complacent Germans suffered defeat after defeat as the armies of the workers marched west. But at the height of our success, the Red Army was betrayed by our own people. Reactionary Russian dogs and Tsar's bootlickers helped the Germans turn back the tide and destroy our overstretched front line. Deep behind our lines as well, revolt after revolt sprang up as demagogues preached the end of the Soviet Union. Yep, it's back again. Shit. We'll see. I swapped the ports out again. We'll see if that works, and if not, I guess we tried. What can I say? We tried. Now the nation, forged in Lenin's revolutionary flame, has been reduced to a few scraps of frozen land. Veterans of 20 years of endless warfare barely hold our possessions south of the Arctic Circle. Beyond our borders, dozens of warlords loot the ruins of Russia as the common people suffer in the Russian anarchy. We've lost contact with every remnant of the Red Army, pushed back from their stations in Central Asia and Siberia. Within our borders, starving refugees barely have enough calories to maintain our rusting industrial sector. Military officers squabble with one another, reflecting the disunity that proved fatal to the Soviet Union in the West Russian War. Through all of this, the revolution endures. As the northern star shines above us, so must we provide eternal guidance to the workers of Russia and beyond. The workers' liberation is inevitable, a force of history that cannot be arrested by tyrants and madmen. If we do not succeed, the future generations shall remember our example. We will not stop fighting until either death or the day the blood-red banner of socialism flies anew. Comrades, onward. The guiding star, northern sky. 75 political power, holy shit, that is nice. Go ahead. Infrastructure might not be too bad. I don't like that's in Narn-Mar, but let's get some infrastructure going. So chat, before you guys disappear again, how are you doing? How go things? Good, doing good. Good to hear, Burb. I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear. Guess I'm looking at everything there. The poll, by the way, well, we did the poll, and everyone seemed to go ahead and want Zhukov. It's weird. Everyone in the comments of that poll said, "Oh, do Tukhachevsky," but almost everyone who voted said Zhukov, so that's why I'm doing Zhukov. So, let's go ahead and get the failures of Barbarossa figured out. The old days of General Secretary Bukharin's regime saw the nation of the Russian people under a greater and more equal state broken under the powers of a German war machine to the west, as the powers of Adolf Hitler and a circus of fascist pigs continued to slaughter our people and burn our lands during the accursed Operation Barbarossa. The General Secretary allowed the Union to become under-equipped, undefended, and underprepared when the Nazis took hold of the German nation, and all of our great motherland came to suffer the consequences and the butcheries that followed. A Soviet Union had been born, and after a world war most terrible, we are what remained of a united Soviet Russia, ready to face the barrel of the Nazi rifle under the greater Marshal Clement Voroshilov. There we go. Zhukov, contrary to the other guy, is not cringe. I'd agree with that, Turtle. How are you doing, by the way, my friend? Welcome. You caught us before the stream is shit out again, so, uh-oh. Well, that would be interesting if Gorong won, but... We could raid Onega. Sounds like a horrible idea, but we could do it. I'd probably be more interested in reigning Vorkuta, honestly. Finishing my last homework. There you go, man. What class? Vasily sat in his guard post, rifle cradled under his shoulder. He gazed into the wilderness that separated the front from those lanes under the control of Vorkuta Gulag. He had been on the border for the last week, one of the few small regiments that guarded the flanks of the front. It would only be a few hours until he would be relieved by his replacement. Looking back over the Arctic lanes, he could vaguely make out something in the distance. A gray speck moving over the tundra. Lifting his binoculars, he focused on the target. It was a person dressed in what looked like an old uniform of some kind. They were well dressed for the winter, heavy jacket, gloves, and other winter gear. The face was covered by balaclava and a type of helmet he could not recognize. Slung across the man's chest was a rifle, one well taken care of, likely a model fresh from the toast. Vasily watched the man as he got nearer, gripping the rifle tight. Finally, the man was within speaking distance, his hands held out to the side away from his weapons. "Halt! What are you doing here?" The mysterious man then spoke in broken, halting Russia. "I come with Tivan. Bandits come from the east. Many bandits plan attack tonight." Vasily could hardly understand the man. His accent was atrocious, but he understood enough. "What? Damn, alright, come up here, but don't do anything stupid." The man walked up the steps and walking to the guardhouse with his hands up. "Let many bandits," the stranger said. Vasily was quick to get up on the horn to the garrison, but they would be unable to send help until the next day. Vasily and the stranger readied the guardhouse as well as they could and could do nothing more but wait. When the garrison sent reinforcements the next day, what they found shocked him. Vasily sat, smoking, on a stump outside. Bodies were piled high in the field and around the building. The stranger was nowhere to be found. "Exceptional luck, Comrade Vasily." That's my boy right there. Heck yeah. Hi, son, Mr. Teef. Yeah. Dmitri. It's been some time since we talked, and I thought it would be worthwhile to catch up. It gave me much joy to discover you were still alive and well, even with all the chaos happening beyond the Urals. I'm not certain what's happening over there, but my admittedly scattered sources do not paint an optimistic picture. I sincerely hope you are keeping safe. Whatever the case, I thought I'd enlighten you as to what I've been up to the past few years. No doubt you've already heard about Operation Superov and the massive goddamn disaster that was. It was not from lack of trying. We had those fascist pigs on the ropes. If I had my way, I'd be writing this letter from Moscow rather than some pissant village. These fucking careers would rather look to their own interests than fight for a greater cause than themselves. I urge Marshal Voroshilov every week that he needs to take a harder stance against our enemies, but he continues to give the same tired excuses. We're not ready. We must look to our people first. It's driving me insane. Sometimes I feel like he'd rather take advice from Zhukov and I. He's a good man, sure, but does he really have a stomach for what must be done in the name of reunification? Perhaps I vented about my problems far too much. I apologize, my friend, but I've been rather frustrated as of late. Please, don't be afraid to tell me of your own exploits, as I'm sure our troubles have much in common. Regards, Mikhail Nikolaevich Tukhachevsky. Stressful days. Posture check and hydrate. You got it. Some good water right there. So we already have, it's interesting, we actually have some of the stuff going up already. Industrial expertise and poverty rates. Doing well already. Failures of Barbarossa. Let's go ahead and get the failures of Suvorov examined. The chronicles of history have all taken into account of the suffering of all Russia's people, its ink in the blood of those who died to overthrow the Tsardom, and those who fought and killed and died to repulse the Nazi horde. However, Barbarossa was not the end of our bloodshed. No, for the land of Suvorov was where our men fought bravely once more to reclaim our rightful lands, Marshal Voroshilov nearly retaking our old capitals. However, all good things must come to an end, as we fell once more on the brink of success during the 1950s as Adolf Hitler sent his hordes against our winter line. Success was in our grasp, and yet we still failed. We broke. We retreated. We failed Russia, yet the West Russian Revolutionary Front has swallowed its failure, and we shall march on, wiser and more experienced. There we go. The captain was usually quiet, modest, and occasionally stern. A fine Red Army officer who carried out his duties without comment or question. Except on nights like tonight, where the captain got in his cups with his men and told them stories. Stories filled with joy and sorrow and humor. With a few doses of vodka in his belly, the captain was a magnificent, if sometimes ineloquent, storyteller. However, tonight he'd only had a few drinks, and his words rang out clear as day. "You young men," he said, standing up in his chair so they could all see him, bottle in hand. "You don't remember what things were like before. Most of you were babies, some not even born. But I was there. I was only just out of school, no older than some of you, when I was sent to the front lines of Great Patriotic War. I was there at Kiev, at Kursk, at Voroshilograd, and the stream disconnected again, of course. And then at Moscow. Defeat after defeat after defeat. You young men do not know how bitter it tastes." He grew quiet then, as did the room. He looked around at the faces of his subordinates, a hint of sadness across his face, and took a long swig of vodka. The Germans, they had tanks and planes and self-propelled artillery and rocket launchers and all kinds of other shit. And what did we have? Half our men didn't even have a rifle. Yet we still put up a good fight. Many fine young men, just like you, died in those days. Died fighting for every inch of Russian soil we lost to those Nazi dogs. It's because of them that we are still here today. Still alive. Still fighting. He lifted up his bottle and made a toast. "To the brave boys of the Red Army," he roared, pulling the bottle to his lips and guzzling down vodka. The soldiers thundered back, happy to be warm and drunk and Russian. "To the brave boys of the Red Army." Rip stream, probably. Yeah, I disconnected again. I'm not happy with how this is going. It's sad. It sucks. It was going good for a while. But, well, we got another event. Might as well get started on it. Mikhail, it's good to hear from you. I admit I've been not paying much attention to what's happening beyond the Urals, and I'm glad you were able to shed some light on that. I am, as you've probably guessed, all alive and well. Regrettably, I've not had much opportunity to accomplish much in the way of musical pursuits as of late, as my obligations to what Central Siberian Republic must have stolen my undivided attention. I realize I've mentioned in the past that I have no love for politics, but strange circumstances such as these demand strange answers. If I can make a positive impact in this broken country, I will spare no effort. What you have told me concerns me deeply, however. I sense a great deal of pent-up rage within your wards, and that your frustrations seem to be getting the better of you. As your friend, I would sincerely advise caution. Venting is healthy, so I will not discourage you on that front. However, please ensure that you do not lose yourself to your frustrations. A man in your position would do well to keep a cool head, for it would be easy to commit evil deeds on the field of battle in a bout of wild rage. Take care. Dmitry Dmitrievich Shostakovich. Oh shit, that's Vitomsky. Nice. A troubled soul. Let's get agricultural methods going. That's the humanist guy from Tomsk. Now we're talking with. That is cool, actually. That's a nice little bit of, it's a nice little nod. Let's see, what else do we got? Let's drink some more water. We have widespread cronyism. isn't nice, but what are you gonna do? Boris and Paddle hardly spared me a glance when I hobbled in my office, like a hunchback, bottle in my undercoat. Oh, is there ever plenty of time to drink nowadays? Welcome back. My people in the Russian Revolution came back for a reasonable grade, so that's nice. Oh, heck yeah, that's good. That is nice to hear. Oh, is there ever plenty of time to drink nowadays? My signature counts for nothing when the French generals do whatever they please, with or without it. So much for... Well, what was that again? Old Klim marshalling the Red Army to the Kremlin? I'm already fucking 80. The most I can marshal at this point are dining napkins and shot glasses. So, can you blame me for wasting my liver away while at work? I thought not. This old bastard has plenty of things to forget anyways. My wasting body, the Red Army, that horse on Tukhachevsky, Finland, Suvorov. Suvorov. I had another dream about it last night. It ended the same as it had the night before. Waves of good men slaughtered like wheat against scythes. Fields of burning tank holes, spewing smoke and burning. Screaming bodies. A whole generation of Russians lost in a madman's gambit. Sometimes they call out to me when I close my eyes. Sometimes I hear nothing. Which is better? I don't know. I stared at the mirror this morning while washing my face. My eyes saw Clement Voroshilov, Clement the Grand Marshal, the hero of Tsaristine, Clement the twice failure of Finland and Suvorov, and 100 more battles than fucking Tsaristine. Always Tsaristine. My hands are stained with more blood than all of my generals combined. And not even alcohol could wash it away. Interesting that we get political power and more support out of that, but okay. I won't question it. Now we got pertinent matters. There's only about 17 pages of stuff I sent. Better come back with something, alright? 7 pages, holy fuck, yeah, I'd hope it would. Although all men, women, and children understand the suffering that we have gone through, the necessity for all Russian peoples to unite to once again claim the glory of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, the Nazis are not the only obstacle in the way. Marshal Voroshilov has excellently led a band of military officers to establish a rule over the front and maintain safety and security for our people. However, the man ages further with every year, and our front has continued to break down into separate factions with differing ideas on how to lead. The Marshal of Victory, Georgy Zhukov, continues to lead a liberalizing faction, desiring evolution to the communist cause, and reforming spikes of governmental inefficiency through promises of reform. Meanwhile, the Red Bonaparte, Mikhail Tukhachevsky, ardently rallies for militarization of the front, calling to abandon Bukharin's failing ideals and use the Red Army as a force for socialist change. Nevertheless, the front continues to march on, unsure of their future in these dangerous times. So wait, just showing it. What? And we're just getting army experience idly, which is nice. All Tunin is actually giving us a nice boost along with it, which is great. Raskolov Bogdan Anatolievich was doing his regular duties as the janitor of Floor 7 of the Front Central Committee headquarters in the Arkhangelsk Oblast when he began to hear very loud murmuring originating from one of the doors. Floor 7, officially a floor for mid-level bureaucrats, was unofficially the dumping ground of every fuck-up in the front, too well connected to be thrown out, but not useful enough to justify moving up in the committee. And there goes the stream, nice. That was alright for Raskolov, who enjoyed the bitter conversations he could hear, which were always entertaining to hear. But this was not one of those conversations. This one was a solemn discussion between men who seemed to have something a bit above bitterness to chew on for once. How long do we have? If projections are right, 6 months, max. And they won't be. Ammo's gotta run out first, so it'll make us easy picks for bandits. God. The voices seemed to stop then, followed by what sounded like sobbing. Under normal circumstances, Raskolov should have felt like panicking. He should have felt a pit in his stomach, the horror rising in his body as he thought of his impending starvation and death. But he didn't, for he knew someone who was not well known in polite society. A guy who knew a guy who knew a guy who would be more than willing to reward him for this information, who would be willing to take him in while they lynched these little bastards. Raskolov smiled and returned to cleaning the floor. Being a grunt does have its perks, after all. Oh, Eddie died. Oh, he almost died. He didn't die. It was close. Pertinent matters. And so this is the big choice, boys. A kingdom without an heir invites chaos through interregnum. A kingdom with more than one, chaos through civil war. So does the front seem to shamble towards the latter without pause. Its aging patriarch, Clement Voroshilov, weakens in strength and vigor with every moment he holds the title and duties of Grand Marshal. Many fear the day the hero of West Russia is confined to bed rest until his passing, not simply out of concern for the man's health, but also for the bedlam that may yet ensue after his funeral. For as it stands, there are two contenders laying claim to Grand Marshal Voroshilov's legacy, Mikhail Tukhachevsky and Georgy Zhukov. For all that they are each other's polar opposites in many respects, philosophies, temperament, methods, the front's two greatest generals are also each other's equals, least of all in skill. A stalemate such as this will only be resolved by beings greater than mortal men. Thus have the fates, in their omniscience, chosen the People's Marshal, Georgy Zhukov. Gonna go now? Fair enough, Burb. The stream has been shitting out. I don't blame you for not wanting to deal with it. Thanks for hopping in as long as you did. Good night or goodbye. It's day for me, but I get what you mean. Right, yeah, that's fair. Jen, Mr. Dogbo, enjoyed my dark joke. I'll be honest, I didn't fully get it. Might have just been the delay. I wasn't fully able to pick it up. So, let's check out the Marshal. Georgy Zhukov oversees the industries of Utka, but he is much, much more than that. Over the decades, Zhukov has become one of the most highly respected officers in the front, having fought for the Soviet Union since its bloody birth. His skills have become the stuff of legends. From dark days of Barbarossa to the desperate triumphs of Suvorov, the rumors of his reformist thinkings are well known. He surrounded himself with officers and officials who run the gamut, from anti-Tukhachevsky militarists to outright social democrats. It's clear that Marshal Zhukov will have an important role to play in the struggles to come. His efforts could radically reshape the front as a force. I find it funny they call Zhukov way younger than Voroshilov when Zhukov is only 18 years younger than Voroshilov. It's everything in perspective, you know? It's all relative. Let's go ahead. Tukhachevsky is making moves. That opens us up to the succession of Voroshilov. The front remains the most powerful polity in shattered Russia. Marshal Voroshilov, the old leader of the front, has become senile. His days are spent murmuring about old wars and old comrades. From the ranks has emerged Marshal Zhukov and Tukhachevsky, generals of Bukharin's old union. The two lie in a bitter power struggle. They're two cliques in an open political war to determine who will be the most legitimate successor of the Red Army, and ultimately the Union. Two contenders exist for the title of Grand Marshal and therefore the position of Voroshilov's successor, Tukhachevsky and Zhukov. The current balance of power within the front is in favor of no contender. The level of concerning factionalism in the front is low, and reforms to the front and decision to support the candidate can be undertaken below. So we can meet with veterans. That might be okay. Let's meet with some veterans. Let's deploy some Red Army labor battalions, get some infrastructure. We can also go ahead and compile evidence of illicit activities undertaken by Tukhachevsky during the West Russian War to present to Voroshilov. Interesting. Let's do it. I'm not sure if we'll get anything out of that, but it's worth a shot, for certain. So we can get working towards either the agricultural situation, or we can get working on stuff to improve Zhukov's influence. You got a few options. Let's see. How you doing, by the way, Jason? I forgot to ask. Let's go ahead and work on the agricultural situation. Soldiers of a front are steadfast, her workers industrious, and her leaders bold and dedicated. However, these mean nothing if there's no food in their stomachs. Although large amounts of food supplies were brought from more southerly regions at the formation of the front, they are beginning to run out. Most of the land we control is barren and unsuitable for agriculture, although we have begun attempting to trade with other warlord states from the bomb campaigns of Luftwaffe, have frustrated any meaningful attempts to import food from elsewhere. If something isn't done, the entire country will starve. Council must be called to assess the new agricultural situation in the front, and new drastic plans must be drawn for the sake of our survival. Whatever arable lands we hold must be devoted to agriculture. New trade deals must be made, and rations must be stretched tight if we are to even eat a single meal in the coming days. Pretty good. Good to hear. Good to hear. Holy shit, that's a lot of political power. I'll take it. Zhukov was seated on a short wooden stool. A light creak yelped from the floor every time he shuffled around. He held a lukewarm glass of scotch in his shaky hand. Around him, the jeers and laughs of his crew, his men, his only friends, as some would say. He took another sip to steady his nerves before observing the crowd. To his left, Sergei Akhromeyev, a man of steel in his own right. Memories of conducting battle in the harshest of conditions with this man flashed before Zhukov's eyes. Suppressing revolts, the firing and crackling of rifles, Akhromeyev had been by his side through it all, and still more. On many battlefields, he was the devil himself, the sheer whisper of his name, setting bandits, Germans, and raiders alike, skewering away without a single shot fired. On others, he was the slaughter of hundreds, the harbinger of death and bloodshed from the end of a barrel. But tonight he was a man, drunk, falling off his chair from laughing. Excuse me. In front of his line of sight was Nikolai Ryzhkov. Zhukov had always seen him as meek, well-tempered, and shy, not one for the battlefield. But he was in no doubt he knew how to carry himself through politics. Many meeting and shouting match had been settled in the cool, level voice of Ryzhkov. So many decisions had been made with Ryzhkov's counsel, always informing Zhukov of the next avenue of opportunity. There was a politician in Russia. Ryzhkov carried the full package. But tonight he was hunched over on the table, passed out from one too many shots. And finally, to his right, Alexander Yakovlevich. The man was always a mystery in truth. Zhukov was not sure how or why he had gotten to where he is now, but all he could discern was he was a man of his word, one of honor, and that itself is respectable enough, especially in times like these. Always behind Zhukov's back, ready to take charge of a meeting or spearhead debate. He was likely the most intelligent of the bunch, but he didn't show it. But tonight he was engaged in a fierce drunken debate with Akhromeyev regarding the attractiveness of old women. Yes, this was Zhukov's motley crew of men. Though many challenges are ahead of him, he will make sure that they see themselves through, as they have many times before. God knows they must. The boys know a good time, at least. And with that, my friends, I think we're going to have to cut it here, sadly. It's been fun, but the stream disconnected halfway through that event. So, I'm going to halt the recording. I'll probably end the stream. I might do another part right after this, or I'll just record a bit more tomorrow or later. I'm not quite sure yet, but and the stream's back, right as I was starting to finish up on YouTube. Thanks as always for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Like the video, leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you want to see more of this content feature, hit the sub button. More uploads every weekday, as well as occasionally Saturdays. If you have any comments, feedback, concern, comment section below is a place to leave them. I read all the comments I get. I appreciate any and all feedback you might have for me. If you want to chat, play games, anything sort, check out my Discord. If you want to send back to my every month, Patreon. If you want to see me do sort of life, assuming my internet doesn't shit out again, which, to be honest, it might. Twitch is the place to check it out. So that's it for now, boys. Thanks always for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.